Friends, hi everyone. Great news finally coming from Washington. Now I will inform you what is going on with the assistance package to Ukraine. Exciting news from Strasbourg. I'm writing this to you from the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe as a direct participant in events and actually their initiator. And now I will tell you what decisions have been made here. In general, my friends, it's changing. You know, there was a trend that everything was difficult for us on the diplomatic front. It was not an easy task, but now we have definitely embarked on a promising upward trajectory that holds great potential for our future success. And this is very important, and why and what it means, and with Noid Solovyov already sitting there, now everything will be explained in detail. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like, share, comment, hit the bell icon to not miss anything, and also don't forget about our fundraiser on a Mavic for units of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. This is very important today. Until American assistance arrives, our assistance is required, friends, and every hryvnia counts. So let's commence. Well, let's initiate with the United States of America. This is of great importance. Yesterday, a bill was finally introduced, a bill aimed at providing aid to Ukraine, de facto authored by Speaker Johnson, the current Speaker of the House of Representatives. And on Saturday, it is anticipated that it will be voted on in the House of Representatives, followed by the Senate, and ultimately the signature of the President. Series of actions. So what does this package entail? Just a friendly reminder, Biden submitted a comprehensive aid package back in the month of October. Even the Speaker has changed significantly during this period. Kevin McCarthy was removed, Johnson emerged, Mike Johnson became prominent. All of this has been going on for a long time. The Senate already voted on a foreign aid package back in December, where Ukraine received nearly $61 billion. Since December, it has all been lying there. And finally, by the way, for those who follow my channel, they know that back then I was explaining and saying that we have no chance of passing this bill by the end of March. And as we can observe, the conclusion of March and April provides us with a window of opportunity. As you can see, I was not mistaken back then. That is why you are here with me on this channel, in order to learn everything. And indeed, this window of opportunities is starting to open up in front of us. So what does Johnson's package entail? In fact, this is the same Senate bill, almost $61 billion. The key difference, well, there are a few points now. There are both good differences and bad ones. But the bad difference is that the direct financial support to the Ukrainian budget, nearly $8 billion in the Senate package, was a grant, meaning it was free, a gift. In the Congress resolution, in the bill, not yet a decision, in the House of Representatives, which is now proposed, it is already a loan. Well, it is unpleasant, but not really a big deal, because firstly, it is immediately stated that this loan can be forgiven by the decision of the United States President, approved by Congress. And also, let's be honest, the USA provided us with financial assistance for free, while Europe was already giving us loans, for example. So it was clear that the USA would also switch to loans. There is also a story here. It became sort of a compromise with Donald Trump, you know. He stated, "Sufficient with providing money to the world without charge. Let us commence offering it as loans." Well, I think here too, you know, it's a special shout out to our European friends who were providing all this on credit and they thought no one would notice. Well, and such a precedent was set. Well, in general, this clearly requires a separate discussion, consideration, but overall, there is nothing critical about it. Contrarily, among the benefits in comparison to the Senate bill, the House of Representatives, in its bill at present, asserts that Biden ought to be assigned the responsibility of supplying Ukraine with assault helicopters. And this is crucial, my friends. Long-range missiles are necessary for us. You will now hear how both Selov and he already understood where these attacks will land. But there is truth. It needs to be clarified that the president may make a different decision not to provide, but then he will have to give explanations to Congress. But this is serious pressure on Biden to give the attacks, but no guarantee. So in any case, it is a positive for Ukraine. There are no downsides here. Otherwise, it is the identical package, once again, $61 billion, with nearly $50 billion specifically for military assistance, not all of it directly to Ukraine, with slightly more than $13 billion directly to Ukraine for weapons. in addition to a comparable sum for replenishing Pentagon supplies, as well as for repairing the equipment that was provided to Ukraine. So, in principle, this indirect part can also come to us. Another $11 billion will be allocated for United States operations in Eastern Europe, bringing the total to $11 billion. Here, take a separate look at the post of Russian propagandists, how they introduced that this is supposedly the work of AWACS intelligence and many other things. So basically, this is also assistance in the war in Ukraine, not 100%, but to a significant extent. And it is true, my friends. So to put it in simple terms, in addition to an extra $1.6 billion of military assistance, approximately about $15 billion allocated directly for weapons for Ukraine, along with tens of billions of additional funding designated for related purposes that strengthen the American military presence in Europe, which will indirectly benefit us as well by enhancing our security and strategic interests in the region. Here is in reality such a package. Let's have a discussion about his chances and the timing of the vote. The vote is tentatively set for Saturday. Johnson delays the House of Representatives, which was supposed to adjourn on Friday to Saturday for the purpose of voting. Well, seriously, it is embedded finally. Let us see how this will end and with what, but the chances are good. Each will be voted on separately. Ukraine will be voted on separately. Israel will be voted on separately. Taiwan will be voted on separately. And another bill, which they named Peace Through Strength, will also be voted on separately, and it is named so beautifully. And at this moment, with this Peace Through Strength, there is also an augmentation in sanctions and the possibility of confiscating Russian assets. Friends, I will also tell you about the assets now. Overall, actually good news, plus such a separate vote will allow, for example, some Dems don't want to vote for aid to Israel, but almost all Dems are voting in favor of aid to Ukraine. Some Republicans do not want to help Ukraine, but overall, this will allow for a division. Ukraine will surely obtain the needed votes. I have no doubts. Nearly all Democrats will vote in favor of us. I think not less than half, and most likely more than half of the Republicans. So we have to pass this with a huge margin. Certainly, there may be procedural pitfalls. Mergers like Taylor Greene, who in my view essentially works for Putin, already threatened Speaker Johnson with resignation, whom they themselves were actually promoting. Now he's facing resignation threat. Well, as Johnson finally spoke, in a way. I am presently executing what I perceive to be the morally right course of action. Vladimir Putin, the leader of Nastasia Politik Pasolé, emphasizes the significance of my presence here by stating, I am currently here undertaking what I firmly believe to be the correct and justifiable course of action.
I believe providing literary aid to Ukraine is crucially important currently. I truly think so.
We cannot engage in politics. We must take the right course of action. These individuals who, in my view, maybe without realizing it, but certainly work for Putin, so they're already threatening him with resignation. Overall, there are pitfalls, but I hope all goes well. It will be advantageous. Following that, the House of Representatives is anticipated to vote on this upcoming Saturday. After, the Senate must approve it, as it slightly differs from the Senate's version. The Senate needs to approve it verbatim, but it will definitely pass. In the Senate, the majority of Democrats plus once more some Republicans are completely in favor of us, perhaps even a large part. Therefore, there shouldn't be any problems there. Most likely everything will happen by the end of April, and then Biden's signature, well, that's the story. A good, important decision. We will definitely analyze it with you. Now, I want to sum up the discussion about the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe, where I am currently located. On my Telegram channel, I provided updates on all the news, but let's now briefly discuss the main points. So, yesterday and the day before yesterday, PACE adopted two important resolutions on the recovery of Ukraine. A crucial point is the confiscation of Russian assets. My amendments on confiscating not only Russian state assets, but also Russian oligarchs' assets were approved. First, it's billions. Second, it's justice. Generally, decisions made. Let me say immediately, I'd like to remind you that PACE decisions are recommendatory. This is not the US Congress where this was decided for the USA, but these are recommendations. But these recommendations reflect the mainstream and certainly push towards making the right decisions. Therefore, this recommendation is important and it has been accepted. The second very important resolution was adopted yesterday, and it includes a whole range of points, some of which are just driving people crazy over there. So this is the first one. Putin's legitimacy is disputed, with some considering him to be illegitimate as a leader. And according to my amendment, even there, they called the elections so-called elections, and a call to all countries, members of the Council of Europe, the European Union, and observer countries such as the USA and many other countries to cut off all contacts with the Putin regime. Great. Second, the Russian Orthodox Church serves as a key instrument of Putin's influence and control, and its hierarchy led by FSB General Gundyaev, also known as Patriarch Kirill, are accomplices in Putin's crimes. A strong response to accusations to Tucker Carlson and others claiming Ukraine persecutes Christians is absurd. Here's Pace's decision fixing this, very important, and we'll find it useful. I'm the author of these amendments, my friends. Believe me, this is crucial. Third, the Russian oil and gas industry is a legitimate target for the armed forces of Ukraine. You understand what is being discussed? It is important. A response to all those who are trying to feed us something, saying it's civilian infrastructure. What? Here is your response. Friends, as you can observe, these are highly significant issues and a connection to our initial segment, a plea to the United States Congress to cast their vote expeditiously on assistance to Ukraine. As you see, they hear this already. I understand these are internal issues, but still, this is the stance of 46 nations. And at this moment, it is extremely important. All of these decisions that I listed for you were unanimously approved. Not a single vote against, not a single vote abstaining. To be honest, this is unprecedented. I have been representing Ukraine in the PACE for nearly 10 years, and I can say never, never have I witnessed anything like that. 0 votes against, 0 abstentions. Don't forget that the Council of Europe includes Armenia, a formal military ally of Russia for now, Serbia, also we understand Hungary, Turkey, and so on. So it's not just the countries of the European Union, but it's much broader. And once again, 0 votes against, 0 abstentions. Yes, certain countries merely abstained from voting, but not a single one went against. And this shows the mainstream and understanding in Europe of all the dangers that Putin represents. So, friends, if you put together this kind of, right now there might be a long but very important analysis of foreign policy. You hear a lot from Ukraine that they are tired. Everything, Putin will wait it out, will press the West. Friends, this is not true. Yes, there are many problems and many questions, and work needs to be done, and Ukraine has missed a lot. But at the same time, there is a clear recognition of the importance of Ukraine. There is support for Ukraine, such mainstream support in Europe. This also adds pressure on the United States and vice versa. By the way, in the bill currently under discussion in the United States Congress, which we were discussing earlier, also an address to allies, also help Ukraine, don't just rely on us. That's also very correct. Let France, Germany, and other nations, it's not just about letting the US handle Russia's war on Ukraine, but also about participating, working, and contributing. It's good that it's mutual. The Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe addresses Congress, and they in turn say, all right, but you there also shouldn't yawn. And that is correct. I intend it generates, solidifies, and enhances this assistance, so that is positive. And as a result of this, my friends, allow me to demonstrate to you a sorrowful consequence of all of this in the final analysis. The sad nightingale brood, no longer joyful as in recent broadcasts. Ukraine not given, oh dear. All yield now. He knows where attackers will land. Spoiler, it says on Putin's inauguration he will go to the Crimean Bridge. Not me, it was birds' droppings. Let's see. Generally, Cheksad Solovyev's offspring.
Current situation, particularly in states that will definitely fund Ukraine. Long-range weapons already supplied. It's clear Ukrainians are preparing to strike at the Crimean Bridge by the time of the inauguration. It is evident that everything is moving precisely in this direction. Therefore, everything is in favor of this. Well, shall we continue? In spite of all the circumstances, we are granting permission for them to proceed. Engaging with our humanity, will we simply stand by and watch as they go, even at the tender age of 16, without taking any action or intervention? Yes. And on every occasion, we will proceed gradually to ensure that, may God protect us, we do not find ourselves in a situation similar to theirs.
Friends, they are sad because they truly have reasons to be sad. We are facing challenges too, but they are global outcasts, and we must strengthen this with every point, every little step. As you can see, I have been actively working on this in the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe this week. We have significant results, and now we really hope that Washington will not let us down. We are following the developments, friends, and staying strong. Don't forget about our gathering, it's important.